Hello. Today is the 6th of September, and whether we like it or not, this morning we have crossed yet another milestone we could have well avoided of 90,000 cases in a single day. Now, how do we react to it? Do we just pretend as if nothing is happening? Do we escalate the state of panic? Do we get overpowered by a feeling of anxiety? No, I really think we have to ground ourselves in reality. Accept the fact that yes, we did not do very well as far as either preventing or minimizing the entry of the infection to the country was concerned. We were all at sixes or sevens in planning our national limitation or mitigation procedures like the lockdown. But given whatever we have done so far, I think once this finds its way in a population base, a dense population base of 135 crore people, all packed up within 30 states, these kind of numbers are not entirely unexpected. To look at the bright side of things, why don't we analyze the trend which is emerging? And the trend over the period of 2 to 3 weeks does show us that the percentage increase in cases are reducing. We are increasing roughly at the rate of 2%, so which is much less than the 3.5%, 4% not that long ago. We are making an effort, especially in some states, and increasing the testing levels. The national numbers of exceeding 10 lakhs per day is an encouraging figure, but albeit the fact that many of these tests are the rapid antigen tests, which are not really great as far as their negative prediction is concerned. We also have to look at two things. One is the overall. If you look at the test positivity rate, that is hovering around 7%, and it will take a lot of hard work to get it below 5%, because that is where we want it to be. The R number, the R naught, the critical index for assessing the ferocity of any infective process in a population base. The R naught figure in India allegedly is somewhere between 1.15, 1.2, 1.3. Well, happily, where I am in West Bengal, the R naught is less than 1. But how much we can rely on R naught data in India is questionable, because many of the information that goes into the calculation for an R naught, I don't think is very reliable, because that kind of granular data at least is not available in the public domain. Anyway, we believe what we see. So everything put together, I don't think it is utter gloom and doom. Yes, we have to recognize the fact that this horrendous infection found its way in the country. It has run through the country, or put it this way, it is running through the country. But somehow we are still managing to get a grip on this. And the mere fact that there is a declining trend gives us some hope that over the course of next fortnight or the next month, we should see us making an effort to descend, to come down from the plateau. But the entire country, this great 3.5 lakh square kilometers of India, will obviously cannot and will not behave in a uniform way. So there are parts which are hotter than the rest. It seems to be a problem which is very much, Maharashtra, as we've said before, is behaving almost in an epical sense. I cannot recall any other part of the world which has produced such heroic numbers for more than 3 months. It's almost approaching 4 months when Maharashtra has been throwing a tsunami of cases. And the funniest thing is that if you consider the cases in the order of their corona prevalence, the states in order of their corona prevalence, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Delhi, with the exception of Andhra lingering somewhere in between, these states happen to be the wealthiest states of India with the highest state domestic products. I mean, fair enough, we are looking like a basket without a bottom, with 25% being shaved off our GDP. But for all it matters, out of 30 odd states of our country, it is extremely paradoxical to see the four wealthiest states which are really having a struggle, a big struggle, a fight on their hands to come to some kind of control with the pandemic. Dissociation of economics from primary health is something that should bother the Indian conscience. But fair enough, the fight has to continue and we have to go on. Now, amidst all this, we have to take note of a couple more things, which is, what bothers a citizen, what bothers a doctor, is when we are planning things like the Unlock 4 and maybe the next step, Unlock 5, we have in many ways dissociated the essential from the non-essential. There is no disagreement, there is no debate about the fact that things like public transport, suburban trains, metro trains, communication, interstate traffic, yes, with all precautions, rhyme, reason, logic, etc., we have to attempt to come back to normal. But what about the congregation of 100 plus people? What about fanning the fire of all these political gatherings for elections that may be coming up in Bihar, etc., in different places? The sudden gay abandon with which some states are opening clubs and bars is frightening. Are we not just turning our head around and looking at the European experience? In Spain, they did a survey of what's happening around the clubs and bars. And the clubs and bars, each average size a bar or a club, were suddenly, when assessed once a week, were putting out 100 plus cases, 100 plus new cases. That is reality. That is what happened in the dhaba, in the outskirts of Delhi. That's a fact of life. So wherever unnecessarily you are going to have a lot of people congregate, and the problem in places like dhabas, bars and pubs is we tend psychologically to let our guards down. There is nothing special about being a club, a dhaba, a bar, a school or whatever. You just need a lot of people to be together. And if the level of precaution is not at its maximum, then we are going to see a step up in the infections. With the opening of transport, we may see a step up of the infections as well. But look, at the horrendous state of the economy, we have to make a trade-off. We have to differentiate what is important, what is essential, between what is non-essential. So this lack of judgment in many of the unlockdown prescriptions, in many of the unlockdown advice which is coming from the government is baffling. Much water has gone down the bridge as far as conducting the JEE and the NEET exams are concerned. Honestly, the logic and the compassion with which we have handled it is absolutely mind-baffling. But I believe that story has already been cast in stone. So before we end today, we just want to make another reference, because some smoke is being seen. Human greed, the same human greed, the same human deviant behavior that started this pandemic, whether we encroached on animal habitats, bizarre eating habits in the wet markets, or whether there were some deviant scientists which put together a lethal combination sequence of RNA and released it in the community. That was human deviant behavior, that was human greed. And if we are kind of nearing the end of the story, at the end of 6 months of this worldwide plunder, the greed is surfacing all over again. And what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is refer to what is happening in the pharmaceutical stocks and shares around us. It is so painful to see that companies like Moderna are riding high on the wave of expectancy from vaccine and their own. There is the whole Moderna is absolutely, it's quite a small company. They don't have a lot of stuff on the shelf to show for it. Somehow, luckily, well, deservedly, they made an entry into the vaccine area. And having made an entry into the vaccine area and playing on the anxiety of President Donald Trump, who the election is on 26th of November and he wants the vaccine to hit the roads by end of October, fair enough, good luck to him. But riding on the foam, on the high spirits of all that expectation, the Moderna stocks are increasing day by day, and most of the Moderna top executives are sort of offloading their shares in the market. So at the end of the day, what will the vaccine story be? Will the vaccine be a real effective solution to a pandemic which has ravaged the world population of 8 billion people? Or will we be back to square one, and will it be a kind of sad story of human greed 2.0? We hope the second possibility is just an apprehension, it's just an anxiety. And all over the world, all in each and every country, if there is a little bit of human ethics, if there is a little bit of human morality left anywhere, then each and every country, the system in each and every part of the world, whether it is with the United Kingdom, whether it is with India, whether it is with Germany, or whether it is with the United States, that we do not transform the cry of the desperate people who want to go back to a normal life into another money-making soap opera. That will be the biggest insult that humanity had shoved on itself in its entire history. Thank you. Good evening.